Ba 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 dang 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 ding dong ding moonlight moon 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 moonlight moon ba 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 dang ba 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 dang 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 ding dong moonlight moon saw me standing alone with a gun in my hand. Without a gang of my own. Dang, 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 ding, dong, moonlight. You knew just what I was there for. You heard me making a deal for something I really could care for. Drugs. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one that will make my arms never work again. I heard somebody whisper, you won't escape me. And when I looked, the moonlight turned towards me. Oh, moonlight. Now my bones are no longer together. Without a gun in my hand, without a gang of my own. Bang, 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 ding, dong, ding, oh, it hurts. Just kill me. Who is Moon Knight? Well, Moon Knight is a guy named Marc Spector who has DID, and schizophrenia maybe. A former US Marine who then became a mercenary who then became friends with the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. Marc Spector then became Moon Knight, and then he fought a werewolf and became a vigilante who wears all white.
I am vengeance. I am justice. I am Marc Spector. I am Stephen Grant. I am Jake Lockley. I am hoping that my meds kick in so I am only one person at a time.
Released in 2014, written by Warren Ellis with art by Declan Shalvey. This is Moon Knight from the Dead. These 6 issues really seem like Warren Ellis was making like a TV show pitch for Moon Knight because they have like cold openings and title sequences. For example, correlate police radio capture with map and GPS. Show me the last 4 events in the incident folder SL2. Alright then. Driver, go to new event location. Town speed. Park. Marc Spector's Moonmobile rounds a corner and then proceeds down the street. You see, typically Moon Knight looks like this, but now he has this sweet suit that seemingly breaks all the rules of reality by being completely white and not conforming to the influence of any lighting. Maybe it's breaking the fourth wall and Moon Knight is wearing the page he's printed on. But the reason for the suit is because this is a new personality called Mr. Knight. So Mr. Knight puts his mask on and walks down an alley towards the crime scene. Sir, that's
Mr. Knight, a concerned citizen.
No, it's Moon Knight.
No, if that was the dangerous vigilante, then I'd have to arrest and restrain him using whatever force necessary. Good thing he isn't. Hello, Mr. Knight.
What do you think we're looking at, Detective? Flint tells Mr. Knight that they have another slasher on the loose, and Mr. Knight kneels before the corpse and says that this isn't a slasher because the victim is different.
So, all the victims were strong men, and they all have bits cut off of them. Real Jack the Ripper crap, you know.
Look at the cuts, Flint. This isn't a surgeon's work. The kill wound tells me things. No real medical training, but someone taught your perp how to murder people. Which makes me wonder why he worked here. He's going after a particular type, but he's not trailing them. This is a tight spot. Why did he wait here? Nothing connects the Vix. Your perp is... he must be surveilling. Maybe during the day, or... he's picking Vix for their size. But fighting like a wounded soldier. It's an ambush point. He's not traveling far. He's working in a prescribed radius. I need maps.
That's all real interesting, Mr. Knight, but you're not a police officer.
I appreciate the perspective, officer. But I'm going underground into the hide of a highly trained killer. I'd prefer to do that part for you.
You're crazy.
It's been said.
Also, I hate to point this out, but wearing a white suit, he's kind of gonna see it coming.
That's the part I like.
Cut to an alleyway. Inside the Moonmobile, Knight lifts off this bottom hatch and discovers a manhole cover stained with blood. He rips it open and descends into the darkness.
You know I can hear you coming, right? Over all this noise, you're running some heavy machinery down here. Important machines. You here to take me out? You armed? Not anymore. I came down here to learn your story. My story? I'm a soldier, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm down here to get better. You were injured in the field? An IED blew the crap out of me, and they wouldn't fix me. Just said I wasn't fit for service. Threw me out. Look at me now. I found all this old medical equipment they wouldn't use on me because it's illegal. When I'm done, they'll have to take me back. You were killing healthy people for supplies? Who does all that training and then does nothing useful with their bodies? Most people know all the names of their muscles. But do they sign up or they work to get in the agency? Or serve their country? Hell no. Perfectly useful muscles and organs go to waste. Every time I go on a supply run, I get better. I have to get better. Let me get this straight. You go up, you hide, you watch and track fit people, and then you kill them. Take pieces of them down here and paste them into your body with obsolete, exotic medical equipment. And you think this is the best use of their lives and your time and skills? No offense, buddy. But you're a mile underground wearing a white suit and a bag over your head. Fair point. And you're unarmed. And you're gonna die down here. I've died before. It was boring, so I stood up. You think you're gonna drag me to the cops of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I know you mask types. All I'm going to do is stop you, as simply and completely as possible. So how are you gonna stop me? I stopped you 2 minutes ago. Look down. Too much noise in here. You didn't hear it bounce off the wall. It looked like it was important.
The Monster Man swings his giant blade hand at Mr. Knight, but Knight easily dodges, and as blood floods out of his mouth, the monster shield agent brandishes his handgun and pulls the trigger. But Knight blocks it with his crescent dart, and it ricochets back into its shooter. Cut to Mark in the therapist's office. The doctor tells him that he doesn't have dissociative identity disorder. Then the once snow-covered mountains outside the window die and become dry husks as black clouds form overhead, turning the sky a deathly gray. The doctor brings up Khonshu as Mark sits in his white seat, and she tells him that Khonshu is said to have 4 aspects: the Pathfinder, Embracer, Defender, Defenders of the Earth, Defender, and the Watcher of Overnight Travelers, and the one who lives on hearts. Mr. Spectre, your brain cycles through the 4 aspects and then applies them to different identities. And then applies different identities to them. Whether that be Marc Spector, Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America. You're not insane. Your brain has been colonized by an ancient consciousness from beyond space and time. Smile. Cut to Moon Knight Mansion. Mr. Knight opens the creaky door and enters the abandoned and decrepit building. Then he removes his mask and sits down on a chair covered in a white tarp. And then he looks around the room and he sees his 2 other personalities, Jake Lockley and Steve Grant. And then he hears, "You are my son." Oh boy, I bet that's gonna be easy to do for the rest of this episode. Jane, it's dark outside. Go the hell home. Yeah. Time to go home, Alan. Time to pretend there's something there. My name is Mr. Cape to you, and if you ever question my decisions or credentials again... It's Oleg. Are you screening my calls? Well, don't. It impedes the flow of capital. Have a great night, Miss Reed. Pizza, Prosecco, cats on the internet, okay. And it's time for me to leave. Thanks for listening. Neil, you must leave for your doctor's appointment now. And I want that take from Somalia on my desk in the morning. Yeah. Time for my little look at the world. Then time to go home. Hello, world. I will put you on your knees right here and shoot you through the top of the head. Is that clear? Yes, that's what I said. You want money? I cause money to happen to you. I don't think we are done, Joe. Oh, we were done 10 minutes ago, sir. Can't wait. So excited. It was a night like this when they left him to die. Make dinner happen. Home in 30. Questioning my competence after all the things I've done. I am the man who makes the thing happen. Abandoned in a foreign country. No contact. No support. No way out. I told you what you need to do to secure your Yemeni holdings. That was the whole meeting, guys. A constant entertainment of having cancer. Thanks. See you way too early tomorrow. No explanation. Bought expensively. Used for years and thrown away in one mysterious second. I'm paid to provide solutions. I listen to your uninformed opinions on those solutions as a courtesy. No, son, I really can't. Not tonight. Doctor's appointment. It doesn't matter what it's for. There could be only one response. Sorry, bad day. I love you. I'm not paid by you, but by the people who pay you. And they hired me away from really serious people. Yes, son, that's right. The appointment is because of my farting. They should have it back. All 9 of them.
The entire Special Operations Group who obtained and directed and discarded him in the field. He imagined one final sudden short glimmer of amusement in their eyes before the bullet met the bone.
Ugh, gonna be a good night. Gonna start in 20 minutes.
That he was doing this last job for free.
Tonight's the night. First night of the rest of our lives. Moon Knight glides through the night sky on his giant angel wing, and he deploys from it and free falls until his cape releases and becomes a parachute/like hang glider. Meanwhile, a man with a very large and high-powered sniper rifle sits on the edge of a rooftop, oblivious to the large white objects soaring in the skies above him. Then his rifle shoots like a zipline grapple onto a radio tower pole and like another across the street, and he turns around and discovers a man of bright white sprinting towards him. The sniper draws his sidearm, but Moon Knight's crescent dart cuts it in half, and the man throws it at Moon Knight before he jumps on the zipline and makes his way across the chasm of buildings. He shoots out a window as Moon Knight jumps off the roof and glides after him, but the sniper fills his cloak with bullet holes, causing the lunar legionnaire to plummet to the earth. Fortunately, he pulls out his moon truncheon and shoots it upward through the broken window where it impacts into the ceiling. Then Moon Knight climbs up into the office building and is shot in the side by the sniper. He launches a crescent dart into the sniper's fleeing leg, and he crashes into a desk.
All right, that's enough.
Not yet. Why can't I hit you?
I'm not real.
That's right! Moon Knight sliced his fucking bullet in half as it was fired from his gun. Then he punches the sniper through more desks, and the sniper fires off his handgun right next to Moon Knight's ear. Moon Knight dives away because he just went deaf as the sniper pops off more shots. And then Moon Knight throws a crescent dart through the sniper's hand and gun. He shoots at Moon Knight some more and then races towards the door, but Moon Knight uses his moon truncheon and grabs the guy in the back.
I want to know why.
They left me out there. They dissolved the company.
Left me out there to die in the field, and went and got new jobs on Wall Street. They paid me, used me to change the course of countries and history. And now they help the banks. It may not have been a good life, but it was my life. They took it, so I took theirs.
Then he kicks Moon Knight in the bullet hole and they fight some more, and Moon Knight bonks him on the head before drop kicking him into the elevator doors.
There were actually 9 of us on the Special Operations Group. I had a last-minute late meeting. Didn't leave work on time. We left a gun in the street of Beirut, or Mogadishu, or Tripoli, or where the hell ever. Guns aren't supposed to come back and kill their owners. Guns are power. The distant projection of death is power. That's why we all changed careers. The bank always wins.
Did he know Moon Knight was there? I assume so. I wonder if he was like going over what he was gonna say on the way up in the elevator. Did he have to go floor to floor to figure it out? Did he see what level they were on? I assume he probably just saw the giant white rope connecting from one building to the other. What do you think he was like when he was going back down the elevator? I imagine his head like fell between his heels and he was like, holy shit. Buckle up, because it's about to get weird. In these snow-covered streets somewhere in New York, citizens walk here and there. Suddenly, a man hears a music box that his partner does not. The man looks down the road for the source of this strange music and spots a bright, sickly green light emanating from the building. And shuffling through the snow are the ghosts of 4 punks.
Yes, Detective Flint. This is Mr. Knight. Your spree hitters just appeared for the 3rd time. Who knew there were still punk gangs? Kind of vintage. Hey, fun's over. Jumping out at night and beating people for kicks is... Ah, the hell with it. You're not even listening.
Mr. Knight winds back his fist and sends it through the ghost punk, and he's like, what? And gets his head slammed into the hood of his car before being whipped by a ghost chain. And then he's jumped by a gang of ghosts until he's beaten and bloodied. Cut to his mansion. Mr. Knight sits in his red-stained white suit and speaks to his others.
I don't understand why I couldn't touch them. Of course you do, my son. They are ghosts. You know full well that the angry dead can reach out and touch the living. I did. Fine. They can touch me and I can't touch them. What am I supposed to do? Sprinkle holy water over downtown? Exercise Spring Street? For as long as we have been together, you have collected items from ancient Egypt. You possess all kinds of armor and raiment for fighting the living. How can you not have garments for fighting the dead?
Smash cut to Marc Spector cracking open a crate of Egyptian crap that he doesn't even remember owning. Later that night, in the city of New York, a sickly green aura fills the sky as pale green fog floods the streets. And in the air, Moon Knight flies in the angel wing and drops into the street in front of the punks wearing a giant bird mask, Egyptian warrior suit. Told you it was getting weird. M. Knight races at the ghost and clocks him in the fucking face, blowing it apart. The ghost falls to the ground as the one with the chain throws it at Moon Knight, so he punches his arm off. And then he puts on some Egyptian knuckle dusters and rips a part of the ghost's body off before punching his head, which explodes on the ground.
Here's the thing. I hate ghosts.
Then the ghosts all run away and Mr. Knight gives chase. And the angel wing swoops down and carries him off into the sky. He tracks the ghosts down to an old building on Spring Street undergoing renovation. Moon Knight kicks down the door and slowly walks down the rotten stairs and enters the basement, where he finds the skeletal remains of 5 punks. 4 lie against the wall, each with a bullet hole in their skulls. In the center of the room rests a skeleton holding a handgun, bathing in pure moonlight. At his feet rests a small, dusty music box. Moon Knight picks up the music box as the 3 ghosts watch on. He turns over the box and finds an inscription on the bottom reading, "Johnny, Be good. Love, Mom.
Are you Johnny? Did you get an attack of conscience? Did you sit here with a childhood music box, waiting for your fellow gang members to come back?
Moon Knight picks up the music box and leaves the resting place. Later, he flies in the angel wing above the water and drops the box into the waves below. The story begins at Odinburger. Odin asks a man if Val wants Odin fries with his order, and the man walks outside munching on some fries when a white limo rolls up, and Mr. Knight tells him he better not bring that food into his car. The man, called Mr. Skeleton, climbs in, and Mr. Knight asks if he knew Dr. Peter Alrain. Alrain? I don't know how to say his name. He was an archaeologist whose camp was raided by mercenaries, Marc Spector being among them. Marc Spector and Dr. Peter have some, rapport.
Also, he was fucking his daughter.
Mr. Skeleton tells Mr. Knight that he works in a sleep research center and all of his patients are having the same dream, which is driving them slowly insane. And since Knight worked with Dr. Peter with a villain named Morpheus who didn't need to sleep and had psionic powers, Knight then asks what kind of research, and Skeleton's like, oh, we're studying the dream state in relation to the neurotoxic load. I wouldn't expect you to understand any of it, Mr. Knight.
Let me see your patients.
You're not qualified to study somnological subjects.
I am precisely qualified. Dreamers are people who travel at night. That is my specialist subject.
So Skeleton leads Mr. Knight to the research center, which is like based out of this like shitty building / laundromat downtown. And Skeleton explains that they've moved all the patients away for now. And Knight asks if there's any empty rooms in the building. One, it's damp, so we don't use it. It also stinks, if I'm honest. God knows what the previous owners were like.
Can it be locked from the inside?
Yes, but
I'll take it.
Mr. Skeletal leads Mr. Knight to the room, and Knight tells him that he's gonna go to sleep, and that Skeleton just fucking go back to his office or whatever and wait. Since this phenomenon is hyper-local, meaning it's in the building, Moon Knight's gonna take a nap so he can get a nice good look at the enemy. And Skeleton's like, jeez, you are crazy. Mr. Knight then enters the room and locks the door behind him. Then he lies down on the floor and asks Khonshu to put him to sleep.
I can't sleep. I can't wake up. I'm trapped in here. I don't know where I am. I don't know if I'm dreaming that I'm dead or dead from dreaming. Am I dead? Are you trapped inside my corpse with me? Help me. I think I'm dead, but I can't stop dreaming.
Oh God, it's you. Oh God, it's gotten to you. No, let me go, damn it. Your brain is under attack just like the other.
Shut up.
What are you doing?
Waking up.
No. Moon Knight rips open the rotted floorboards and reveals a corpse wrapped in a tarp on a bed of fungi. Then rats break out of the tarp and reveal the mushrooms that are ripping out of the skull of the decaying corpse emit spores into the air. One of the first test subjects. I found him on Craigslist. I found out too late that he had some kind of fungal infection in his brain that was killing him. He died in the dream state. I couldn't have anybody find out.
Look at him, down there in the damp, rank with whatever crap you were putting into him. His brain sporulated. You've been breathing in his dreams. Hello. Get lost, buddy. I ain't selling. I confiscated this from a man in Egypt who tried to take someone away from me. I was quite upset with him. I'm told that he still passes shards of his own ribcage when he goes to the bathroom. You have taken someone away from their home. I'm not interested in the politics of crime families, so don't even try to justify it. You took someone who was traveling at night, on their way home from a school event. You don't do that in New York City. How many people are holding that person in there?
A dozen. Maybe more.
Where's your abductee?
Fifth floor.
Of a 6th-floor building. I presume your friends are pretty much spread out.
I guess.
All right then. May as well go through the front door.
Hey, were those boards over the door not a clue that we're closed, buddy?
The red moon is rising behind
supposed to be?
The one you see coming.
Oh crap.
Damn it, those things cost real money, and it's not like I have a job. Second floor.
What the fuck?
Third floor. I was trying to take a nap. That's not helping. Fourth floor. Fifth floor. Nice. I love purple rain.
I'm gonna kill you, you son of a...
Good. I needed one of those.
I'm gonna kill...
Come out, wherever you are. And don't go downstairs. It's not safe.
Not safe. Oh shit. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Pretty sure my gun has a better reach than your bat. But I love this bat. And you can't kill me. You could kill her. It's true. But what saves your life after she's dead? Everybody already thinks the kid's dead anyway. That loss is accepted. Have you accepted yours? Are you ready to die today? You could use that gun on her now. But she's the only thing keeping you alive. Make your call. Hello, Scarlet. I guess I must look pretty weird.
Yeah.
My name's Mr. Knight. The police will be here to pick you up in a little bit. You can tell them you met me.
Your face.
It's a mask. Did they hurt you at all?
No. They just carried me places. It's not a mask. It's your face.
Smart kid. Driver, anonymized calling system. Leave a message for Detective Flint given this location. Drone, predator mode. This location, mantle.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Listen, where you're going, tell your friends, tell everyone you meet. You tell them all. When you see me coming, run.
That's all real interesting, Mr. Knight, but you're not a police officer.
I appreciate the perspective, officer, but I'm going underground into the hide of a highly trained killer. I'd prefer to do that part for you.
What the hell did all that even mean?
I wouldn't take it personally, Trent.
Yeah? Why's that? Because he's special? Because he's better than us? Because he's your weird little buddy?
Because you're dumb. You have a crappy attitude, and you're gonna be a street police until you die.
Only girls cry. Stop it. Stop being so emotional. Ryan Trent, you simply did not try hard enough. You don't get to make the rules. Why don't you have a girlfriend, Ryan? Nobody respects you when you do these things. You're gonna be a cop? While people your age are fighting for freedom? You don't even know what you want. You're gonna blow through life like a ghost.
You're never gonna be good enough, Ryan.
Being a cop isn't special, but being a freak with a bag on his head, that's special. That gets respect. I don't even get to do real police work. We let Mr. Knight do the police work. Oh, where the hell with that? I'm gonna do some police work. I'm gonna find out what's so goddamn special about Mr. Knight. Trent begins his research into the vigilante Moon Knight, and he bribes his way into the evidence locker for the case with the ex-SHIELD agent. And, he sort of follows, behind... He's basically one issue behind Moon Knight from all the shit that he was doing in this little miniseries. Meanwhile, at home, he also practices his dart-throwing ability because he figures that darts must be easier than those little moon boomerangs. Also, he goes to the shooting range, pumps some iron, and constantly reminds himself that he is not good enough. And one day, he shows up at Marlene Alleron's home. She's the daughter of Peter, whatever. Trent flashes the SHIELD agent's card that he, cleaned off, and says he's with SHIELD and has a couple questions, but she stonewalls him. Cut to a restaurant. Jean-Paul Ducamp waiters around. Ducamp, aka Frenchie, is also an old associate of Moon Knight and Marc Spector. He, made the mooncopter, flew it around or something. Trent then pulls his SHIELD routine again, and Ducamp's like,
"He works with a drone and a self-driving car, you idiot. He's not working with anyone, but I will tell you that he will never stop. He will go on and on, using up people, spending the bottomless pit of blood money, and he cannot die."
Sometime later, Trent sits in his dark living room with his, wife or girlfriend. Okay, so get this. There's this guy named Knowles. He comes back and he's crazy, yeah? He wants to become mayor. He wants to top what his father did and make his wife sorry she ran off with some guy. But he sees Moon Knight and he sees a guy who's admired for doing the state's job in disguise. He loses it. He comes up with his own second identity, the Black Spectre, and he puts together his own crew. And he nearly does it. He nearly kills Moon Knight.
He was a bad guy.
Right. He tries to become the opposite of Moon Knight, but his motives are all screwed up.
But if I became Black Spectre, I could just replace Moon Knight. He doesn't need a crew. I don't need a crew. He's got a crappy background in mercenary work. I'm a goddamn New York City police officer. Can you imagine that old bastard Flint's face when I eventually revealed that the freak beat detective is really a street cop he disrespected? I'll be on homicide and wearing a sharp suit in a second.
How do you replace Moon Knight?
I mean, I'm gonna have to kill him. Carson Knowles was an idiot. All that time in war zones and he never learned how to plant an IED? What? What? You can't blow him up in his car? Why not? Because it's murder! And you'd have to do it in the city with people! Oh. You see, honey, there's another thing, too. Moon Knight works alone. No ties. He's technically dead. Cut to the sleep clinic place. Trent has snuck past the police tape and collects a duffel bag of gas tanks, body armor, and weapons. Then he suits up as Black Spectre. Meanwhile, Moon Knight sits in his chair as the computer replays a police message about a guy cutting off people's faces and yelling for Moon Knight. Later, the Moonmobile rounds a corner of a dark, empty street. A body with a dart in his skull sits in a car along the curb, and below the car is a makeshift IED. Black Spectre sits in a building overlooking the car with 3 cell phones in front of him and 2 hostages. Come on, drive on. Yes. Black Spectre sends the messages on 3 of the phones, but only 2 go through. Damn it, I was sure I wired that other car properly. Oh well, someone else's problem now. I got you though, didn't I? Where's your special powers now? Where did all your moon crap and your arrogance get you, huh? Dead! And now, I get to be special. I get to be you. Mr. Knight flies down on the Angel Wing and crashes it at the Black Spectre, and he lands on a fire escape, but is hit in the arm with a dart. This ain't gonna be a fight. I'm just gonna kill you.
I'm better than you. I deserve to be you. And now I get to show you why I deserve to be loved more than you.
Boop.
Who the hell are you supposed to be? I'm Spectre. Let me tell you a thing about Black Spectre. He really just wanted to be loved. He wanted his dad and his wife to love him. Wanted his crew to love him. Wanted the whole damn city to love him. I don't know you. Let me tell you a thing about me. People who love me suffer and die. I never wanted to be loved. That's why I always win.
The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode of What Is. It was very long to make and fun also. Hey, and you know what? Give it a like if you want and share it with everybody. Send it to random people on your group chats or your social medias. Even with people who don't like comics. Or with people who do like comics. Or people who want to like comics. And also tell me what you thought of this episode and the comic. And make sure you leave some suggestions in the links below. Or in the links, what? In the comics, in the comments below. Also, I have a Patreon if you want to check that out. I don't know, only if you want to. And if you have money to spare to give to random people on the internet. I'll see you in a fortnight. Bye.